Today is Monday, April 11th. We'll tell you about a new Russian general in Ukraine and why the U.S. says bringing him in was not a good sign. Also, why spring break and summer travelers may be running into more problems, and why thousands of Etsy sellers are going on strike today. Plus, Elon Musk changed his mind about Twitter. Will Smith responded to his final punishment from the Academy, and how Tiger Woods performed in his latest comeback. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. The war in Ukraine has entered another brutal phase. Over the weekend, Russian forces attacked several civilian targets. The large cities of Kharkiv in the north and Mariupol in the south are still under near constant attack. Plus, an airport was destroyed yesterday in central Ukraine. Also recently, a crowded eastern Ukrainian train station was attacked as people were trying to escape the region. At least 57 people were killed and more than 100 were hurt in that attack. So far, officials say Ukraine has opened 5,600 war crimes cases since Russia's invasion began. And this war seems to be far from over. Authorities say Russia is now planning a massive attack in eastern Ukraine. In fact, new satellite images show an 8-mile-long Russian convoy traveling across northern Ukraine towards the east. And the U.S. says a new Russian general has been tapped to take over the invasion. He's one of Russia's most experienced officers, who also has a record of brutality against civilians in other wars. To help Ukraine prepare, several foreign allies have promised to send more weapons. All the while, Russian nations keep punishing Russia with sanctions. And today, President Biden has a virtual meeting with India's prime minister, trying to convince him to cut ties with Russia too. Also today, Russian President Putin is expected to meet with his Austrian counterpart. It will be the first time since the invasion started that Putin will meet face-to-face with a European leader. Stay tuned. Even though the number of new COVID-19 cases has been pretty low in recent weeks, a couple of big American cities are seeing big upticks. We're talking about New York City and Washington, D.C. Since the last week of March, the New York Times says cases have doubled in D.C. and risen about 60% in New York City. A few Broadway performances have been canceled, and New York City's mayor canceled his appearances after testing positive. At the nation's capital, several politicians have gotten sick with COVID-19, including Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, just to name a few. All that said, even though the new cases are getting more common in those cities, hospitalizations and deaths are still becoming less common. Some have credited the vaccine for helping to prevent a severe case of COVID-19. And the Times says this could reflect the new BA2 version of COVID-19 that's more contagious but might not be as severe. NFL stars and fans are mourning the sudden loss of a well-known player. Quarterback Dwayne Haskins was hit and killed by a dump truck on Saturday morning while trying to walk across a highway in Florida. He was just 24 years old when he died. Haskins was a standout at Ohio State and was drafted by the team now known as the Washington Commanders. He most recently played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And over the weekend, tributes have been pouring in from all around the league and OSU. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin released a statement saying in part, quote, "Dwayne was a great teammate, but even more so a tremendous friend to so many." Florida Highway Patrol is still investigating his death. Well, it was another rough weekend for air travelers in the U.S. JetBlue Airways and Spirit Airlines had to cancel hundreds of flights and delay many more. They were apparently dealing with staffing issues and some bad weather in Florida. But this was especially rough for travelers because it was another busy spring break weekend. That means flights that did take off were packed, so many people had to find alternative flights later in the week or cancel their trips altogether. The airlines are hoping to avoid more issues like this, for starters, by hiring more workers. There's also a change that could make it tough for you to find flights this summer. JetBlue and Alaska Airlines decided to cut flights starting next month and throughout the summer season, even though they are expecting surging summer travel. The idea here is the cuts will lower the risk of last-minute cancellations. Meanwhile, other airlines like American and Southwest say they have been able to hire enough workers to keep up with their summer schedules as they are now. All right, we have more news still coming up, but first let's take a quick break for our sponsor. So if you've been listening for a while, then you know I'm a first-time mom, and as parents, we are forced to learn fast. And the latest thing I've learned is that my baby and I both love Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit diapers. Now that I have an older baby, he is super active, and Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit is Pampers' best fit and protection for an active baby. So unlike regular taped diapers, the 360 gap-free fit stretches around my baby's waist so it doesn't gap on his back. My baby can now crawl around and continue learning how to walk and climb leak-free. And the material feels super soft and comfortable. I can tell my baby actually loves it because he's finally stopped tugging at his diaper. Also, in case you didn't know, Pampers is the #1 pediatrician recommended brand. So buy in store. You can look for the Pampers Cruisers 360 Fit if you want the type I've been talking about. And don't forget to download the Pampers Club app today to start earning rewards with every diapers and wipes purchase. Starting today, U.S. citizens have a new option when applying for a passport. You can now pick X as the gender marker. The White House called it a major step for making sure Americans who identify as non-binary and gender non-conforming get accurate ID documents and are respected while they travel. But to be clear, travelers' IDs still have to have the same names that are on their boarding passes. Along with that, TSA is soon rolling out less invasive screening procedures. That includes replacing the current gender-based screening system, which for now lets TSA choose either a man or woman to screen a traveler based on their appearance. Instead, TSA is promising more advanced technology to avoid having so many pat-downs anyway. The TSA expects the update to show up in airports later this year after testing is finished. Well, thousands of sellers on Etsy plan to go on strike this week, changing their online stores to vacation mode and asking shoppers to boycott the platform too. The sellers say they're protesting a range of new policies in recent years. They say the final straw was finding out Etsy will take a larger cut of their money starting today with a 30% increase in transaction fees, while at the same time learning the company's profits are up. Of course, Etsy is an online marketplace where many independent creators and businesses sell their items directly to customers. Etsy defends this most recent fee increase as a good thing for sellers. The company says it'll invest most of the extra revenue from the fee into marketing, seller tools, and better customer experiences, which Etsy says will lead to more sales for sellers, pointing to its ability to bring in record sales per seller in 2021. The tens of thousands of sellers and buyers that have signed an online petition so far are just a fraction of the millions who use the platform. But this strike is set to last from today through next Monday. An unexpected reversal from the richest person in the world. Elon Musk decided not to join Twitter's board of directors after all. Twitter CEO shared the announcement last night. That's less than a week after we found out Musk became the company's largest shareholder and would join the board. It's not clear why Musk changed his mind, but Twitter said when he was going to join the board, he would have had to act in the best interest of the company, as all board members do. And keep in mind, as a board member, Musk would have been limited to owning no more than about a 15% stake in the company. So far, Musk has not said anything about this since the announcement, though he did tweet out the hand-over-mouth emoji. If you're not familiar with that one, Emojipedia describes it as coy laughter or embarrassment, as if cheekily saying, oops. Will Smith is now banned from the Oscars and all other Academy events for the next 10 years. That's his punishment for slapping Chris Rock during the Academy Awards last month. The Board of Governors for the Academy made the decision on Friday. In a statement, the Academy called Smith's behavior unacceptable and harmful, thanked Chris Rock for maintaining his composure, and apologized to the public for not doing more in the moment when it first happened. Smith responded, saying, quote, "I accept and respect the Academy's decision." Remember, Smith already resigned from the Academy and apologized for his actions. Altogether, it now means Smith can't vote for who should win an Oscar, and he can't show up at Academy events, in person or virtually, for a decade. But Variety reports he can still be nominated and even win Oscars during that time, and he will get to keep the Best Actor Oscar that he won this year. Huge stars from all over the world came together over the weekend to raise money for Ukraine. We're talking Celine Dion, Bruce Springsteen, U2, Stevie Wonder, Green Day, Barbra Streisand, Madonna, Garth Brooks, Elton John, Oprah Winfrey, and many, many more. They all got online to encourage their fans to help fund humanitarian efforts in Ukraine. Some posted heartfelt messages, photos, or videos, along with a link to donate to the organization Global Citizen that's focused on helping refugees. And many pointed people to the official pledge drive that was organized by leaders of Europe and Canada on Saturday. By the end of the weekend, donors had given about $10 billion. A young American golfer is making a big name for himself. 25-year-old Scottie Scheffler won the top tournament in golf, the Masters. This is pretty incredible considering just 2 months ago he had yet to ever win on the PGA Tour. But since then, he's become the world's #1 player, collected 4 wins, and the signature Masters green jacket. That makes him only the second golfer in history to win as many events, including the Masters, in that span of time. The only other person to ever achieve that was Arnold Palmer in 1960. Scheffler's toughest competitor at the Masters was Rory McIlroy, but Scheffler ended up winning it by 3 strokes. And with that Masters win, Scheffler took home $2.7 million. Oh, and if you're wondering how Tiger Woods did on his big comeback, it was a rough first tournament back for the golf legend since his car accident last year. He finished in 47th place. But some experts say the good thing is he finished, which is a very positive step forward. Well, that's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, a message from our sponsor. News has to travel fast, but hiring often takes longer than expected. In 2022, don't let the search for the best candidates slow down your growth. Find quality candidates fast with Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites hoping to find candidates with the right skills, you need one powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. I love that Indeed also gives you so many tools to work with, including 135 assessment tests. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/newsworthy. Offer valid through April 30th. Go to Indeed.com/newsworthy to claim your $75 credit before April 30th. Indeed.com/newsworthy. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, now back to Money Monday. Americans seem to be embracing some big luxury purchases these days, with more people buying things like jewelry. New data from MasterCard shows jewelry sales rose nearly 80% in March as compared to March of 2019 before the pandemic started. Jewelry has been a popular purchase for a while, actually, even during the pandemic. But 2022 is expected to see an even bigger boom. Axios cites many Americans going back to the office and this year being a record breaker for weddings. But jewelry isn't the only thing Americans are splurging on. Bloomberg reports luxury growth last year was led by the U.S., perhaps because of the rising stock market and relief payments from the federal government. Many more shoppers than usual bought high-end clothing, shoes, and bags. Market reports say art buying was up too, beyond pre-pandemic levels. So the luxury stores are going way beyond the famous Fifth Avenue in New York City or Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles. Now more upscale brands are popping up in shopping centers and malls all around the country. All right, thank you so much for listening today and every day. If you enjoy the show, be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button on your podcast app so you always get new episodes. We'll be back with much more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.